Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are going to master 25 new words from WordSmart List 16. Now, to make things way easier to remember, we're going to group them into themes based on what they mean. Sound good? Okay, let's get started. All right, let's jump right in. Our very first group of words are all adjectives, and we use these to describe things, everything from really bad situations to just how old something is. So first up, we have 3 different ways to say something is bad, but each one has a special flavor. If you see something that's so horrible it shocks you or makes you feel sick, that's ghastly. A little trick, it sounds like ghostly, so think of a horrifying, ghastly ghost. Now, grievous is different. It's about how serious or severe something is, like a grievous injury or a grievous mistake. It causes deep sadness or grief. And finally, heinous. This one is for things that are just pure evil. It's the strongest of the 3, used for truly wicked, hateful crimes. Okay, let's look at 3 more descriptive words. First, halcyon. This is such a beautiful word. It's for a time in the past that was just perfect, peaceful, happy, and calm. Think about the halcyon days of summer vacation. On the other hand, we have hoary. This word is all about being very, very old. So old that it's become gray or white with age, like a hoary old tree. And last, we have impending. You can almost feel this word, can't you? It describes something that is about to happen, and it usually feels a bit negative or stressful, like an impending deadline or an impending storm.
Great job so far. Let's move on to our second group. These are all verbs, our action words. We're going to look at actions like bothering someone, blocking something, or, well, saying the same thing over and over again.
Okay, now these 2 words are super similar, so let's pay close attention. We've got harass and harry. Both mean to bother someone, right? But here's the difference. It's all about intensity. To harass someone is to bother them again and again. But to harry someone, that's way more aggressive and constant. It's like a non-stop attack. Think of harry as harass on steroids. It's much stronger. Let's look at these examples, and you'll really see the difference. A lawyer harassed a witness. See? Annoying, repetitive questions. But look at the next one. Enemy soldiers harried the village for weeks. That feels totally different, doesn't it? It suggests constant attacks, a feeling of no escape. Same with being harried by your boss's demands. It's relentless, it's overwhelming.
Our next action word is impede. The meaning here is actually pretty simple. It just means to block something or to slow it down. If something impedes your progress, it's just getting in your way and making things more difficult for you.
And you can use impede in all sorts of situations. Heavy snow can definitely impede your travel. A lack of money can totally impede a business from growing. And in a police show, you'll always hear them say, "Do not impede the investigation." It just means don't get in our way. Let's wrap up this group with 2 final verbs. First, to harp on something. You know that person who talks about the same thing over and over and over again and it's so annoying? That's what it means to harp on something. Then we have habituate. This just means to get used to something so it becomes a habit and doesn't bother you anymore. Like, if you move to a noisy city, at first the sirens might drive you crazy, but after a while, you become habituated to the sound.
All right, keeping the momentum going, on to our third group. This is a bit of a mix. We've got words about how things look, how people act, and a few that have to do with money and food. These 3 words are actually connected in a really cool way. Think of it like this. A grimace is a real facial expression. It's that ugly face you make when you're in pain or taste something gross. It shows what you're really feeling. But a guise, well, that's a false appearance. It's a disguise. A spy in the guise of a waiter is hiding who he really is. And that leads us to hypocrisy, which is like a guise for your inner beliefs. It's pretending to have good values that you don't really have. So we go from a real appearance to a fake appearance to fake beliefs. Now let's talk about money, or the lack of it. If you are impecunious, it's a fancy way of saying you have very little or no money. You're poor, you're broke. Now, if something is gratis, it costs nothing. It's totally free. So you can imagine that an impecunious student would be thrilled to get some coffee served gratis. And finally, gastronomy. That's the art of good eating and fine food. And of course, to really enjoy gastronomy, it helps to not be impecunious. We are in the home stretch. We've made it to our final and biggest group of words. These are all about big ideas, important concepts, and signs of things to come. So let me start this section with a question for you. When you hear an idea or a comment, is it a really general, broad idea? Or is it specific and directly related to the topic we're actually talking about? This difference is key for our next two words. And here they are, generic versus germane. This is a super important pair to know. Generic means general, not specific. Think about a generic store-brand product. It's the basic version, nothing special. Germane, on the other hand, means relevant and fitting. If your comment is germane, it's right on topic and contributes to the conversation.
These examples really make it click. If you just say, good, that's a generic compliment. It doesn't give any specifics. Now look at the other side. Someone might say, please keep your comments germane to the topic. They're saying, stay on point. So if you're debating politics, telling a story about your dog, while maybe fun, is probably not germane.
Okay, here are 3 more big ideas for you. Genesis is just a word for the beginning or the origin of something. Super simple. Next, an idiom. An idiom is a phrase where the meaning is totally different from the individual words. Like, it's raining cats and dogs has nothing to do with animals falling from the sky. It's an idiom for heavy rain. And impeach. This one is important. It does not mean to remove someone from their job. It means to formally accuse a public official of a serious crime. The accusation comes first.
Okay, the next word we need to cover is, well, it's a very heavy and serious one. It describes one of the most horrible acts a person can imagine.
That word is genocide. It means the planned and deliberate killing of an entire group of people simply because of their race, their culture, or their ethnicity. This is an extremely serious word for a truly horrific crime against humanity. All right, let's finish up with 2 words that are all about signs of the future, harbinger and herald. They're very similar. Both are signs of something that's coming, but there's one small but really important difference. A harbinger is almost always a thing or an event, but a herald is more flexible. It can be a thing or an event, sure, but it can also be a person who announces something, and it can even be a verb.
This slide makes the difference perfectly clear. Dark clouds are a thing, a harbinger of a storm. A robin is a thing, a harbinger of spring. Now look at the last sentence. The new technology heralds a new age. See? Here, it's used as a verb. You could never say that technology harbingers a new age, and that, right there, is the key difference. And just like that, you've learned 25 new words. Fantastic work! To finish up, I've got a little challenge for you. Thinking about all the words we just learned, which one do you think best describes a challenge that is difficult but definitely not impossible? Ponder that one as you review the list. Thanks for joining me, and happy studying.